$20,000. That's what a 9-0 Fiancé star just got ordered to pay her ex-husband in their divorce. And if you think that sounds backwards, you are not the only one. For years, the entire fandom assumed Jasmine married Gino for a green card and would walk away with his money the second the marriage fell apart. Instead, she's the one writing checks. And less than 24 hours after that news broke, her legal team came out swinging with a cease-and-desist threat aimed at anyone still spreading what they're calling defamatory claims about her. So we've got a financial reversal nobody predicted, a legal threat nobody saw coming, and a resurfaced allegation involving Gino that could change how you see this entire divorce. Let's get into it. Quick refresher on how we even got here, because if you haven't watched this couple since before the 90 days, a lot has happened. Gino and Jasmine met when he traveled to Panama to meet her for the first time, and their relationship played out across multiple seasons, all the way through the flagship show and into 90 Day The Last Resort. They got married in June of 2023 in Michigan. Somewhere along the way, their marriage hit a wall neither of them could get past. Gino has said publicly that he went celibate for months during their relationship, and rather than work through it quietly, the two of them agreed to open up their marriage. That is the moment a lot of fans point to as the beginning of the end, because opening a marriage on reality television rarely stays simple, and this one didn't. Jasmine started spending time with a man named Matt Brannistorenu, someone she met at the gym, and what started as what she called a friendship turned into something bigger. She and Matt welcomed a daughter together, Matilda, while Jasmine was still legally married to Gino. Gino has since said, in his own words on the Last Resort tell-all, that he regrets ever agreeing to open the marriage. He put it plainly when he said he felt trapped in a corner and had to take action because nothing else was working. That single admission tells you a lot about where his head was at by the end of this relationship. Both of them filed for divorce in the summer of 2025. Gino in Michigan and Jasmine down in Florida, where she'd relocated with Matt. And after almost a year of legal back and forth, the divorce was finally finalized on June 26th of this year. Gino's representative put out a statement calling it a long and emotionally difficult chapter finally coming to a close, and said the court's ruling resolved the matter in his favor. At the time, most people probably read that as Gino simply being relieved the process was over. Turns out it was a lot more literal than that. Here's the part that's blowing everyone's mind. According to the actual court documents, Jasmine is required to pay Gino $500 a month for 40 months, which adds up to $20,000 total, with the first payment due back on July 1st. On top of that, the property split wasn't some even 50-50 deal either. Gino keeps his property in Michigan and his car. Jasmine keeps her property down in Florida. Both of them hold on to their own clothing, jewelry, and furniture. So when Gino's team said the ruling was in his favor, they meant it in every possible sense. Emotional and financial. Now, if you've been anywhere near this fandom for the last few years, you know the narrative that's been attached to Jasmine pretty much since day one. People online have accused her over and over of only being with Gino for a visa and predicted she'd try to squeeze him for everything he had once the marriage ended. This settlement flips that story completely on its head, and that's exactly the point Jasmine's team is making right now, because the response from her camp did not stay quiet for long. Just one day after the divorce finalization made headlines, Jasmine's lawyer and her manager both released statements, and this is where things get a lot more serious than your typical reality television drama. Her manager said that for far too long, Jasmine has been forced to defend herself against a narrative that does not line up with the facts or the outcome of the case, and that she chose peace over prolonged litigation so she could focus on her children and her future. That part is a fair, understandable thing for anyone to say after a rough public divorce. But then her lawyer's statement went further. He said the legal process concluded, but her right to protect her reputation has not, and confirmed they are issuing a formal cease and desist over statements they believe are false and damaging. In plain terms, Jasmine's legal team is telling anyone still spreading certain claims about her online to stop or face the possibility of a lawsuit. So what exactly are they trying to shut down? According to statements from Jasmine's side, part of what she's pushing back on is a claim that has followed her since her marriage started falling apart. That Gino sent nude photos of her to his ex, and that the fallout from that cost her a teaching job back home in Panama. I want to be very clear here because this is a serious allegation and it deserves to be treated carefully. This is a claim coming from Jasmine's camp. It is not something that has been proven in court, and Gino has not, as far as the public record shows, responded to that specific accusation directly. So we are not saying this happened. What we are saying is that Jasmine's team is bringing it back into the conversation now, at the exact moment she's also defending herself financially and legally, and that timing matters. If true, it would completely reshape how people think about who actually did the damage in this relationship. If it isn't, it's still a claim serious enough that her lawyers are willing to attach a legal threat to it. Naturally, once people saw the $20,000 number, theories started flying about why on earth Jasmine would be the one paying up. Some fans and even a few entertainment outlets have floated the idea that this payout might actually be compensation tied to Gino no longer being featured on the show, essentially covering lost income from being written out of future seasons. Others have guessed it could simply be reimbursement for legal fees Gino racked up defending himself throughout the divorce process. I want to stress, none of that has been confirmed by either side. These are fan theories and outlet speculation, not settlement documents spelling out a reason. But it does tell you something about how confusing this outcome is to the people who followed this couple for years, because normally in this franchise, it's the American partner writing the check, not the other way around. While we're on the subject of Jasmine and Matt, there's one more piece of this puzzle worth mentioning, and again, I want to frame this correctly. Dr. James Kelleher, a therapist who worked with couples on The Last Resort, spoke on a podcast a while back about Jasmine and Matt's relationship, and he said he saw signs of what he called an emotional connection between them that went beyond a simple friendship. That is one therapist's professional opinion, offered after the fact, not a confirmed timeline of anything, and it is not proof that anything crossed a line while Jasmine was still with Gino. But it does add context to why so many fans already had strong opinions about this relationship long before the divorce numbers ever became public. So where does that leave us? On one hand, you've got a financial outcome that completely contradicts years of public assumptions about who was really in this relationship for what. On the other hand, you've got a legal team actively threatening consequences for anyone who keeps repeating certain claims, alongside a serious, unproven allegation being used to explain years of public criticism. Both of those things can be true at the same time, and honestly, that's what makes this one of the messier endings in recent memory for this franchise. Reality television thrives on clean villains and clean victims, and this situation refuses to give us either. Here's my honest take. I think the money reversal alone is going to force a lot of people to rethink how quickly they jump to conclusions about Jasmine over the years, whether or not the nude photo claim ever gets fully addressed publicly. Public opinion moved fast in one direction for a long time, and the actual paperwork just told a very different story. At the same time, a cease and desist is a serious legal step, not just a press release for sympathy. And if Jasmine's team follows through, we could see this story escalate well past just entertainment blogs and fan pages. So I want to know what you think. Does this financial outcome change how you see Jasmine's side of this divorce? Or do you think there's still more to this story that hasn't come out yet? Drop your take in the comments because I already know this section is going to be split right down the middle. And if you want to see where things stand for Gino now that this chapter is closed, including the drama around his new relationship since the split, I've got a video breaking all of that down next, so make sure you stick around for it. If this keeps you hooked, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one, because this story is far from finished.